We're just going to freaking go in and go deep and go really gritty on something really, really shitty, which is P Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it? Did he not do it? Girls Gone Gritty want to know.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Girls Gone Gritty. And we are in Bring It On Production Studios. And I'm sitting next to Jen and Darian. And we were just talking about one night of the year that I look forward to every year. And it was the VMAs.
So fun.
I mean, I liked not only to see what everybody rolled into on the red carpet, but, you know, usually I had a pretty solid stance on who I wanted to win something because it was either my favorite song, my favorite video. But I don't watch it anymore. And when I hear that it's happening on the radio or the TV, I get excited, but it's just kind of passed me by a little bit. And I happen to know that we have a large pop star that just tried to make her big debut as a country star, and she kind of got snubbed and didn't really show up. What do you girls think? Who do you think I'm talking about here?
Oh, little B.
Beyoncé, how you doing?
I mean, first of all, we'll just say this. She's incredible. She's talented. She's done a lot, obviously.
Queen Bey.
She's the queen, and not trying to take one thing away from her. But here's the thing. I think we're in a society anymore where, like, can we just not try and check every single freaking box? It's too much to live up to, guys. I mean, holy moly. Like, there are people that go back into their country roots after maybe they went pop for a little bit and then they've gone the other way, and that's great. But when you're just trying to see if you can tackle and conquer everything, I don't really feel like you
stay in your own lane.
I feel like you need to do that. And listen, Beyoncé, I don't know if you personally feel like you were snubbed, but I know that people were talking about you being snubbed.
Why? Because she didn't get the Country Music Award.
Yeah.
First of all, that's what you have to know. That's what we're. The award,
she didn't get recognized for this being a particularly great country album.
Right. I didn't watch it, but I did listen to it. But imagine you get Johnny Cash, Morgan Wallen. All of a sudden they go pop.
Stapleton.
They go R&B. And they get upset because they didn't get a prize. They didn't get nominated. I mean, come on. Beyonce was great, but I know people that are hardcore people into country. And they are like, press on, like, don't try it. I love the one song. I mean, I thought it was great, and
I did not love it.
Texas
Hold'em.
Texas
we listened
Hold'em
to this morning. It sounds like something that I could have written, and she was hoping it was going to become some line dance thing. But I'm sorry, there is no country artistry there. I mean, I genuinely think she's got an amazing voice, and I think she's a super talented person. But after all the articles that I read, one thing I will say is Nashville expects you to bow down to the gatekeepers. They expect you to pay your dues. And by playing honky tonks, they want you, you know, it's almost like this reality TV show thing that has taken over the world with chefs. You know, we happen to be very close to a chef that went to culinary school in France and worked under all these exceptional chefs and learned his craft because he rolled up his sleeves and paid his dues. I think that that's all that the country, you know, crowd is looking for. Somebody that really went out and did it the right way and like hobnobbed with every level of society until they made their way up to the top.
Well, think about when you hear and you listen to country lyrics, it tells a story. It's like hip hop. It tells a story. Now, could you see Morgan Wallen doing like rap lyrics? No, because you're not living in Compton. You're not living those experiences. So country songs, I mean, every song, you're just like, oh my gosh, it's like gut wrenching. It like almost brings you to tears. It's because that's what they're living. So it's almost as if she's coming in and trying to be, okay, I'm going to feel like this is great. Texas Hold'em. You don't live in Texas. Like, you're disparaging kind of country music.
But the way CMAs work, though, is radio play. So, you know, you have to be requesting these songs at radio stations, and they have to get played over and over and over. So she did not get a nomination because the radio play statistic was not there. It's an algorithm, you know, it's down to numbers. You can't make up numbers. You can't make up people requesting to hear songs and her going on a tour from station to station to station and winning over the people in the stations and communities at large and playing festivals that are country oriented. You know, you can't just show up if you're the queen of pop and think that you're going to become the queen of country.
Well, but there's a bit of an arrogance when it comes to that, in my opinion, and I feel like part of the reason why I don't really like this album or like, you know, Texas Hold'em, right? That it feels inauthentic. It feels like there was a formulation, there was a almost like a calculated, like, well, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna get that, and then we're gonna get this, and it again, like, to me, so many things boil down to like the money trail and like how to, you know, get as many likes and figure out how I can metric and monetize and do all this stuff, and you're losing part of yourself, like. Destiny's Child, like you go back to like where she started, and it was like she was going down this lane and you watched her go down this lane, and now it's like you can't just put slap a cowboy hat on somebody and call them country. And listen, I own several cowboy hats. I am not country.
You look good in them, though.
Thank
you. You look great in them.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a girl from New Jersey who, like, I love to put on my cowboy boots and my cowboy hat, but like, you're not taking me out of my jersey.
Not taking the jersey out of me.
But too. And that's the thing. I feel like women of Beyonce's caliber, I want them to demonstrate to our young people, and that's really where I like land on this, is like, be authentic to yourself. And when somebody in the industry wants to take you down a road, because I'm not sure that this was their original thought. I don't know that for a fact. But
the country demographic is huge.
They want to capitalize on that. If somebody wants to take you down that demographic, down that lane, and take you outside of where you started and where your roots landed, look in the mirror and be true to yourself. Because listen, we've all been in situations in our lives where somebody wanted us to do something that felt inauthentic.
But maybe for her, just given the way that the music has evolved, I mean, my nieces, my nephews, everybody listens to country music now. Back in the day, people were like, "What, country music? Nope, move on." Maybe
I'm sick and tired of like horrible lyrics that are about killing people or about, bleaching their private parts. I mean, it's like, at least country, when you feel like you want to be taken away from all of the ridiculous lyrics that are out there that our youth are consuming, it's a storytelling, non-vulgar situation. It's realistic. It's real life. It's down home. Darius Rucker, he makes sense, started as Hootie and the Blowfish, had a deep Southern root. Him going country makes sense. I understand it. Even Post Malone, who would not at all look like he was going to be a country soothsayer at some point with all of his tats. He's a super talented artist. He definitely consumes country music. Wanted to go into that direction, but did it the right way. He went to the heads of Nashville and said, "Hey, this is something that I want to do. How do I do this? Because country music evokes emotion in me, and I want to highlight this as something, that's important." They said collaborate. So he came out with an album where he has 15 collaborations with like the Morgan Wallens and the Tim McGraws and the Luke Combs. And that's the way he decided to emerge, which is smart, because he was with somebody that obviously is already there.
Yeah. Well, music evolves.
Beyonce tried to go solo.
Right. And who knows? I mean, on one side, you're like, okay, hats off for you trying to jump into the country wheelhouse, because
it's a challenge.
And you have other musicians that will try to go into hardcore. They'll try to go into alt music. They'll try to go into hip hop. And maybe she just wanted to swing for the fences. Some people do love the song, though. But music has just evolved so much. There's not any pure...
It's probably the people that love Beyonce love that song. I don't know that there's country...
No, I don't think country...
that love it. And that's the demographic that mattered the most.
I don't know. I saw those cowboys dancing on Instagram, those videos. You've seen them, haven't you?
I really haven't.
Oh, my God. I got to pull it up. Oh. It's...
Wow. It's hard because we're also in a society where power players use their power in every direction. And, You know, a great example of a power player that was in the music industry that took his power to the next level and was using it for the bad.
Right.
P Diddy,
Oh, gee.
who just got arrested in the city. And, you know, truly, you look at this guy that has all this talent and all of, like, you know, God-given gifts that have made him who he is. And now he's just using them all, like, in such disgusting ways. That's a very frightening situation.
Well, he got charged with allegedly, always have to throw in allegedly, charged
The air quotes.
with racketeering. He was charged with sex trafficking,
Human trafficking.
racketeering, conspiracy, and prostitution transportation.
What I'd like to see here is that this guy goes down. Epstein went down, but, like, we're still waiting to see the black book. You know, I don't get why we were waiting for his significant partner to finally get picked up, Jiz Lane. And we're still yet to see all the people that visited Epstein's island. So, you know, to me, I think the misabuse of power is such a huge thing, ranging from politics to celebrities. And those are synonymous because politicians love celebrities and celebrities love billionaires. And it's just this vicious, ugly circle of power, and they need to be taken down.
Well, that's not happening because at the end of the day, somebody gets replaced by somebody else in power. So, you know, we're just playing a little bit of a game of whack-a-mole as far as I'm concerned, and it really is sad. And it's a testament, sadly, I think, to our legal system. And I would say is what's come to light is that, like, this bill that they put through in New York opened up a year-long opportunity for, you know, Adult Survivors Act that, like, allowed people to come back to the table about things that happened.
Like, regardless of a statute of limitations.
Correct.
Like another year freebie that you can come out of the woodworks if you have a claim, and you can go, like Cassie in the P Diddy lawsuit. She was quieted. You know, 2016, she got the crap beaten out of her. We all saw it. 2017, she removes, you know, her charges against P Diddy and cites them as, like, I don't know, what did she cite him as? It was like she was biased or something. And it got taken off the table. But now it's back on the table because of this.
Yeah, but here's the problem: is that, like, the way that our legal system currently works, it's like, you know, reasonable. You're you know, innocent till proven guilty, which I obviously completely agree with. But there's a couple of things happening here. There's a court of public opinion. Court of public opinion works really, really fast. Social media, 24-hour news cycle moves really, really fast. And our court systems do not move the way that everything else does. You try to get things done in a court system, it takes years.
Why do I feel like you are protecting the scumbag? Why is the scumbag?
Because the scumbag usually has more money.
I mean, innocent until proven guilty, like Diddy. Okay, where there's smoke, there's fire. This guy is a clown show. He has done so many things that are volatile.
Allegedly.
How does a judge look at the video of him beating the crap out of Cassie and actually having zero regard for a female life? Okay. How do you ever look at that man and not think he's automatically guilty?
I'm not saying you don't. What I'm saying is that the way that our system works is, who knows if that's even going to be admissible in a court of law? Because at the end of the day, what we know is that a lot of times things get thrown out for technicalities. For too many people have seen it. The pool is biased. Like, there are so many nuances.
The jurors are swayed.
And at the end of the day, when we have a legal system that is based on not common sense law, that doesn't exist in this country. It's case law. And all you have to do is prove that some other judge went some way on it, then you've made a case without having to make your case. And I do think what the problem with P. Diddy right now is that it's so enormous.
It's an international story.
Enormous, and the number of tentacles.
You're living under a tent if you haven't heard, or
tentacles that are coming out from this.
Save me, and it's guilty too.
Well,
he's
know what?
Touched everybody. He's got a lot of people that are white knuckled right now, holding their breath because they could fall like a domino effect.
And
you guys read the article?
No, I read the article.
1,000 like baby oil, like 1,000 bottles of baby oil or something disgusting, and
it's
GHB.
GHB. There was Molly. He did coke. He would basically get these victims.
What was the sex? It was like a sex
It's
fueled
called a freak off.
freak off.
And
Videotape.
sometimes
to go for days.
Right. And it's basically planned and controlled sex performances, which he called freak offs. And he would hire a male prostitute. He would hire a female prostitute.
Hire or kidnap.
Sorry, kidnap.
Drug.
Whatever he did, he would have the male and the female, and he'd sit and watch them freak out and do crazy stuff. And if basically they didn't do what he said, he'd beat the crap out of them. So he's deranged, and I'm so happy he's going to jail, hopefully, because allegedly he did all these things, but it's got to stop. It's just because
Then
you
you
make
got
money.
Jay-Z. You've got Jay-Z. You've got these
That's
major
because
headlines.
they think they're above that's because
law.
they think they are above everything. And listen, the truth is that a lot of them kind of are, until they go down in terrible flames. Like, they're operating in a universe where, everybody protects everybody, and then all of a sudden somebody just disappears or is no longer on this earth. Like, it's scary. It's a scary thing. And I feel badly for the whistleblowers on this kind of a situation, because they're dangerous, crazy, crazy people.
In the video of what he did to his former girlfriend in the hotel.
And he denied it.
Yeah.
He kept denying it for 2 years.
You deny it when there's video of it.
The video came out a couple years later is the
Wow.
thing. And then it proved him wrong. And there are bathroom stalls, when you go to different bathroom stalls to clubs and areas all around the country that have, if you are being sex trafficking, or
my
you're
God.
part of the sex trafficking ring, please call this number or do this, because it's out there. And look, you have someone who,
I saw that in Vegas. It terrified me because Vegas is like a heavy hitter spot. And I read it and I was like, whoa. And then I started really like recognizing that human trafficking, not just sex trafficking, human trafficking is a huge thing.
Yeah.
I mean, people are like employed illegally as slaves in lots of different directions. So it's like a terrifying reality, and everybody needs to go watch The Sound of Freedom if they haven't. And for whatever reason, Los Angeles and a lot of Hollywood was anti this because they said it depicted slavery, sex slavery, and
because they're all part of it.
It depicted it too unrealistically. Are you kidding me? We need to highlight this issue. This is a massive problem. It's the largest growing business in the United States.
Modern day slavery.
And the statistics are horrifying. And my child, who goes to OSU, Columbus, is ranked in the top 5 for like sex trafficking. It's like one of the largest kind of capitals for this hideous crime. It's a growing, terrifying thing. And there are a lot of power players that are behind it, from the Epsteins to I'm sure P Diddy was on that island.
You see photos, and I'm not getting political, but you see photos who he has aligned himself with.
Oh yeah,
across the board, and it's out there.
Oh, yeah.
And you go underground, but I'm not going to go underground because I'm on even keel. But you go underground, and this stuff has been going on. It's been out there for years, all of this, and now it's slowly popping up. Like, oh, wait. And the light bulb goes off. I'm like, this has been going on for years. And if you really researched it, you'd be horrified knowing who's involved. So, allegedly.
Unfortunately, I have to say, it's just, it's the same story that we've learned over time. The Egyptians, what happened to slavery in this country. Like, there's people that take advantage of child work labor. There's people that pay people in this country that pay people unfair wages. There's people that work people to the bone, don't let them know what their hours are. I mean, it's unbelievable what humans do to other humans.
Yeah.
And
it's to make a profit.
It's all in the power, money, and greed category. And that's the thing that's so sad. And it's unfortunate that we are here and we know about all this stuff, but unfortunately, I have to say, like, the kings of today do it. The kings of yesterday did it.
Look at Weinstein.
Thank God that, this guy's been found out.
Well, you've got the Epstein, billionaire, millionaire. You've got the Weinstein, producer, director, movie hero. Like, people in power abuse their power.
But the rules don't apply.
But there's also people who aren't big names that abuse it. So P Diddy, he did fly from LA, came to New York, gave himself in $50 million bond, and they said, and his lawyers proposed $50 million. You know, my house. They were like, nope,
Thank God.
he's going down.
Yeah,
Because more and more people now are coming forward, and it's like anything, you know, you get caught. You can't do things in life right now. I mean, you can, but you get caught. There's cameras everywhere, and it's how you're tied in. How do you protect your children? How do you protect your family? And you just gotta keep rolling. But I do have to say, P Diddy did have some good music.
Well, I think that at the end of the day, that here's the part too, is like, as human beings, we have to like trust our instinct. And sometimes you make, you know, accommodations because this person's that or that person's this. Like, you know, if it doesn't feel right in your being, like you got to stay true to yourself, you know, back to that authenticity that, you know, I feel like has been lost. It's like, well, we're going to do that because that person's famous or that person's rich or that person's powerful or that person can help me in my job. You know, like be really careful where you erode your moral compass, because you can end up way far away from what is like morally right. And this is what happened. This guy, if he would have done this very early in his career, it would have never gotten to this place because nobody would have put up with it. But when you get to a place of all of those things, suddenly everybody's like, well, you know, he's not, you know, he's employing those people. They're doing it under their own, you know, guys. He hired prostitutes. The prostitutes should know what they're doing. And but like you continue to erode that compass and you get to that place. Like
They were sex slaves.
yeah.
How about the Brandy Melville story? I just was on the plane and I watched a documentary on Brandy Melville called Brandy Hellville. And it's, you know, popular teenage, I don't even know, 20-something clothing line that's disposable clothing, right? It started up and my kids were gaga for it. It's affordable. It's cute. It's nothing like brilliant by any means from a fashion standpoint. It's staples. But the two guys that are behind it are men. So it's not Brandy, a girl, and Melville.
Neither was Victoria's Secrets.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, it's very interesting how these two guys masterminded this whole situation where they don't pay for advertising. They have kids really like go out and use social media and take photos. But in the same realm, they had an eye in the sky in their stores. They were watching the kids that would come in. They would handpick the girls that they wanted pictures of. They would send their employees to go, oh, God, you represent Brandy Melville so beautifully. Can we get a picture of you? And before you know it, they're being asked to work at the Brandy Melville store. And before you know it, there's like a Brandy Melville apartment in New York City where some people might be able to come spend the night. And it became like lie after disposable clothing, after greed, after sex trafficking potential issues. I mean, watch that documentary ASAP, because if your kids are consuming it, you're part of the problem. And I went out and smeared this all over the world because it is just everywhere we turn around. There's somebody being skeevy and scummy and doing things that are right in front of our eyes that we're not recognizing that we're part of the problem because we're consuming P. Diddy's music. We're consuming, you know, a lot of the problems. Going to Weinstein movies. I mean, you know,
it's there. So you're not going to go, oh, well, I'm not going to buy Nike because I know that they're made by kids who are not making
Brandy Melville. I mean, it was kids, and it wasn't even in Italy. They claim that they're an Italian brand and it was in China or a part of Italy where they like actually had sweat, you know, lockers.
Well, but that's because they get away with it because everybody wants a new hot thing and nobody's paying attention. And after, at the end of it, it's like a little asterisk at the end of the story. And if you catch it, you catch the 5 minutes of fame or the 5 minutes of like that capitalistic surge, you win. It's not about long-term. It's not about sustainability. It's not about like putting the energy in which you want to receive. It's about how many chips can I put on the table? And to me, everything in this country is a Ponzi scheme. It's how fast I can get in, make as much money, make as much of a hoopla, and get the hell out before anybody's taste change. They find me out, or I don't know, I go out of business because my tactics are terrible.
I need that. Go in, go out, make a bunch of money, go on a
That's what
surf
it
trip.
is. It's what it is. And listen, it's only going to get worse with the way that things are, I mean, look at what has happened with like just the marketability of anything, clothing, alcohol, drugs, music, like all of it has gone Richter. Again, going back to what I said about the 24-hour news cycle, Instagram, social media, like it doesn't matter. If I get 1% of the population, it's a windfall.
But I like all those things that you just like. I love all those fun things.
I know.
And we all do.
That's the problem.
But you can't stop it. If you could bring manufacturing
you can't
to
stop
U.S.
it on some level, but it has to be the masses that agree. Like when Pat was so angry about like Budweiser, like at one point he just was anti what the message was that they were promoting. So
I didn't drink Bud.
He didn't drink Bud. I mean, there are things that we can do.
Yeah, your dollar is your vote.
Your dollar is your vote.
Dollar is power.
True. So you
your
stop
dollar
consuming,
is power.
Yes.
Well, they lowered the prices, and then they changed up their marketing, and then you forget about it, and you go buy Budweiser again.
And then they hire somebody that you really love for a whole bunch of money, and
that becomes the front person. And I know we just have to be smarter.
It's the ebb and flow.
Well, and listen, back to our female like little take on like taking care of like what you need to take care of and staying true to your authentic self. Like women make a lot of financial decisions in the purchasing power of their own household.
True.
So guess what? You can decide what you wear, what you eat, what you drink, where you shop, what you consume,
what
musically,
you listen to,
like all of it. And listen, and I know we've talked about this in an earlier episode, when it comes to music, I'm like, click when my kids put stuff on in the car. And I'm like, and now my kids who listen to rap and listen to, the P Diddy stuff, like they're on a whole new, like, ooh, that doesn't really if I really am honest, that doesn't make me feel good. That doesn't make me a better person. And the light bulb moment is happening. I do think. I think a lot of people are getting a little bit more aware of like the sham. I'm being hoodwinked in a way that is not okay.
I don't know. I was listening.
I like old school Jay-Z.
I was like, no, I had lithium on, and I picked up Didi, and I guess I was in my zone, and I'm singing Rage Against the Machine, and she's looking at me like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, oh my God, sorry. It was like I was just in the zone. I'm like, yeah, taking me back to my ski days. I love lithium, though. I mean, I love XM and Pandora because you get to hear all your old songs.
You do what you tell me.
I want to blank you like an animal. I mean, we've always had lyric issues.
Oh, totally.
We're back to our lyrics and our sound.
But I didn't get mainstream. But here,
yeah, but I take the songs
mainstream play. I mean, it was bleeped out.
Yes,
it was bleeped out, or there was the explicit version was only on the album. They had the clean version for consumers,
censored,
and even that's been eroded. So, but that's a whole other topic.
But when you listen to the songs back in the day, you don't. I didn't really listen to the lyrics like you do as you get older. You're like, oh wow, those were kind of gnarly ones. You just kind of listen to it because that's all you just got in the jam, and it just reminded you of, oh, I'm gonna ski fast, and this song makes me, because you love the sound, makes you go fast, makes you go big. And
I guess one of the only positive things about Beyonce wanting to go country is maybe she wouldn't have gone on stage and tried to take off all of her clothes and gyrate. And
no, she was naked on a horse pretty much, I think.
Was she? Yeah, I didn't even
wait till I show you the videos of these cowboys
with a cowboy hat on.
She was like in 2011. I feel like she was nominated at the VMAs this year for her 2011 video, which was called Love on Top. And that's where she was like rubbing her stomach and stroking her stomach, and she revealed that she was pregnant with Blue Ivy.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
she's a great musician.
She is, but
you have to be crazy to be a musician. You have to have some screw loose. Unfortunately, some take it kind of over the cliff.
She took it over the cliff. I mean,
but it did give us years of good music and clubbing, and you hear that one song, you're like, oh, that takes me back in time, and
put a ring on it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I have a song.
Or when Jay-Z, actually strayed, shocker, and she came out with that whole entire album about being cheated on and having her heart broken. And that
now we're talking country.
Well,
there you go.
That could have been her country ballad
album.
Yeah.
But thanks everyone. This has been riveting. No, it's this girl's gone pretty. It's
up.
This was our Girls Gone Gritty reality podcast. So thanks for listening.
It's a gritty world out there.
Yeah, it's a gritty world. Protect your kids.
Got to be awake. You gotta understand and
Trust your gut.
Put on Light FM or Yacht Rock if you want happy times.
Actually, listen to country.
No, country's great.
It really does just kind of take the insanity out of the moment, and it's relaxing, and it feels right sometimes.
Feels right. I'm gonna go show these girls the hot cowboy gyrating to that song from Beyonce, and we're gonna talk to you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Peace out.